this one team where you think things are going to go well, but well, let's get into it. Of course, the quarterback right now is Matthew Stafford, definitely a dangerous quarterback, and I think he's their first real stable quarterback in franchise history. Still definitely still a great quarterback. I do really enjoy his playing style. Running back right now, I think it's going to be Kerryon Johnson from Auburn, who they drafted in the second round. After they really haven't had a real stable running back since Barry Sanders stepped out the doors. They tried Amir Abdullah, and durability has just been a huge concern for him. They did sign LeGarrette Blount, but he's probably going to play second string or at least complementary to Johnson. And of course, they do have Theo Riddick, but he's no more than a third down back. And you have some fourth string backs in like Dwayne Washington and Zach Zenner. But I do think the goal is that Kerryon Johnson is going to be the main back for the team. And of course, looking at the wide receivers, you got a three-headed monster in Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, and Kenny Golladay. I think Golladay is probably going to get more playing time as the season goes on. They also like to give T.J. Jones some playing time, and he's pretty good. He is pretty good. They do have a couple other players who do want to try out every now and then, but I'm pretty sure the main four is going to be Tate, Marvin Jones, Golladay, and T.J. Jones. With tight end being probably Luke Wilson after they got rid of Eric Ebron. And they got a couple other players you want to try, but it looks like it might be Eric Ebron being the main guy. Otherwise, this is a very good team, a very good roster that they put together, especially looking at the weapons and such that Stafford has to work with. They're hoping that they can get a running game going. It could be a big difference maker for the team. They're also hoping that they can get probably a legitimate tight end. They've been striking out on guys like Pettigrew and so far Ebron, and of course right now they're trying Luke Wilson, but he hasn't been much of anything, durability problems, etc., etc. And of course, looking at the offensive line, it's still very good. I mean, they got at tackles, you got Reggie Wagner playing the right and Taylor Decker lining up the left. Interior is going to probably be Joe Dahl and T.J. Lang. And at center is probably Frank Ragnow, who they drafted in the first round. A very good offensive line. Definitely something to keep a note of. A lot of people thought it was going to be really good last season after they added Ricky Wagner and then got T.J. Lang off free agency. And I think it could be a good offensive line depending how durability is. I think Taylor Decker getting hurt with the torn labrum in minicamp definitely affected that team way more than the Lions would have certainly wanted. And of course, if they can keep up the durability, I think this will be a very much dangerous offense. It has some firepower, has some good things going about it. I do like Stafford, but of course they're hoping that the run game does pick up. And of course, looking at the defensive line, edge rushers being Anthony Zettel, Anthony Zettel is more of the interior. It's more of the plays outside on the first few downs and then kicks interior during third down passing situations. And of course, Ezekiel Ansah, who they re-signed. They had a couple other players they're probably going to rotate in. Interior is also Sean Robinson and I think Kerry Hyder that they're hoping would step up at the other interior defense line after letting Holti Nagda walk. It's a very good. I still like the defensive line a lot. Keep going. They did lose Tahir Whitehead to the Raiders, but I think they're going to have Devon Kennard and Jalen Reeves-Maben be their linebackers, with Jared Davis manning the middle. And of course, looking at the corners, you still have Darius Slay, who is one of my top 5 cornerbacks. Probably lining up on the other side of him is Quantre Diggs, a very good slot corner. They're also hoping Jalen Tabor. I'm calling him Jalen Tabor, not Tease. He needs to earn the nickname. At the opposite corner, to play a long slot alongside Slay and have Diggs beat the slot corner. And at safety, you still have Glover, Quinn, and Miles Kilbrew. Overall, that defense is good, innocent in a way. A'Shawn Robinson really has stepped up for them. I do like, and especially Anthony Zettel. Those two players are really performing well. Has definitely helped this team in more ways than it has been shown throughout in just stats. They are very, very, very valuable for this team. And having young players step up like this is definitely a huge plus. The linebackers now they're starting to get some of the younger linebackers in, like Davis and Reeves-Maybin, who they both got in a 2017 draft. I think Reeves-Maybin is definitely great linebacker, especially Jarrad Davis. But they just need to step up and perform well. If they can get some good performances from both those linebackers, there's without a hint of a doubt that this team will be very, very dangerous. And of course, the corners, you're looking at T. Stapler, they're hoping that he steps up. But the thing about this team, this Detroit Lions team, is that it's very hard to really get a good grasp on. I mean, this is a team that they'll either do very, very well or very, very poorly. It feels like at times they come in between that. And I do want to see this team really step up and take the big leap and perhaps one day make a Super Bowl. But it always feels like something's kind of pulling back. It always feels like this team is not necessarily polished well. There's just these little itty-bitty things that really prevent them from taking leaps and bounds ahead of the competition and proving to be this dominant, this constant, consistent, dominant force. They'll always be that. I think they are that team. So as long as Stafford's at quarterback, as being the team that they'll always be difficult to match up against. But if they can just keep focused and keep a straight, narrow mind, they can probably turn not only to be a good playoff team, but also a very, very good, perhaps a Super Bowl contender. But it's just, like I said, it's just the little things in every little thing. I think, for one, the lack of a running game definitely has hurt them. They're hoping that Johnson does step up, and I think Blunt's probably going to take the main carries, and Johnson will work his way slowly, probably beat him out, and it'll be a constant thing throughout. You'll see throughout the season. You'll just start seeing Blunt lose snaps and carries, touches, etc. Johnson will start earning more, and who knows what happened to guys with Riddick or Abdullah. Who knows what will happen to those guys. And of course, looking at their defense, they want to have a good opposite corner because Darius Slay is definitely one of the better corners. He's a top 5 corner. But they want a good opposite side corner. I mean, they love Quandre Diggs, but like I said, he's more of a slot guy. Jamal Agnew's purely special teams. He's purely kick returning. But they want to have someone to start on the opposite side of Slay, and they're hoping it's Tabor. But I really haven't seen anything that would show that Jalen Tabor really has what it takes to be a good starting opposite corner. And if a lot of things just go right, this is good. Then they'll probably make the playoffs. This is the NFC North as well as the NFC East are two divisions that it's really hard to place. It's really hard to place because they really have improved. Well, I'll go to the NFC East when I do that at some point. But the North, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to place these teams like the Vikings, the Bears, the Packers, the Lions, because each of them did improve and polish in certain areas. They got necessary needed players in certain positions, but now it's just all about execution and how well they can perform, as well as just overall durability. And looking at this schedule, it's definitely tough because looking at their first 5 games, 4 of them are essentially playoff teams, and not playing on the road against the Niners and the Patriots and the Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. For the first 5, that's a very tough setup. That could be a tough road. I mean, if they start out 1-4 going into the bye, that's very unfortunate. It's gonna be a huge problem. It's gonna be a huge problem. And of course, coming after the bye week in week 6, it gets a little levity. They will have to play Bears twice. They have to play a division matchup 3 in 4 weeks. Well, in the entire month of November, 3 of them are against division opponents with two matchups essentially back to back against the Chicago Bears, who have improved, and I can honestly see this team trading blows very, very easily. And of course, their final 5 games are tough. 3 of the 5, of course, are perennial playoff teams. You got the LA Rams, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Packers. And overall, this team does have a tough schedule, but I think they do have enough talent to really persevere through. I can see this team either going 7-9 or at worst 6-10. It's not so much it's not so much a problem with the overall talent. It's more of schedule difficulty in how they take each game. Like essentially like I said, the first 5 games, 4 of the 5 games after the Jets, who they play on. Geez, they playing pretty late on September 10th. The Monday night game against the Jets, and you got the Niners, Patriots, Cowboys, and Packers back to back like that. That's going to be very rough and very challenging. And if they could come away 2-3 or hell 3-2, that's very encouraging and enthusiastic. But realistically, you're looking at a 1-4 start, and it's a very tough climb back, and especially we have to keep looking. You got to play the Vikings twice still. You play the Packers at the end of the season, and you're in Lambeau in the cold of December. And of course, you got to play the Rams. You got to play the Bears twice, who have improved and could be quite of a challenge to them. So a 6-10 record is not unrealistic. It's not very much unrealistic. I mean, yeah, they do have a couple of easy games playing against, like I said, the Dolphins, the Jets, Dolphins, Jets, Bills, Seahawks, and Cardinals. Those would be some easy. I think that could be some easy wins for them and really kind of get their road straight. But like I said, the challenging teams that they play against, it might be proved too much. It might prove to be way too much for them.